The sweetness of newlywed life feels so close, yet now, I feel like my life is a ship lost in a storm, heading straight toward the abyss of chaos. My name is Emily. I once looked at marriage with hope, believing it was the gateway to happiness, a starting point for two people to support each other and walk through life together. But reality has slapped me hard across the face. At the beginning of our marriage, the days with my husband, Jack, weren't extravagant, but they were warm and comfortable. We dreamed of a future together, fantasized about having a lovely child, and creating a cozy home. Every evening after work, we would go to the supermarket together, picking out ingredients, and then cooking dinner while sharing stories about our day. Those moments were simple, but filled with happiness. But as time passed, subtle changes began to appear. Jack's work became increasingly busy, with overtime becoming a regular thing. Sometimes, he would even spend weekends at the office. At first, I understood the pressures of his job, and willingly took on most of the household chores, thinking that if his career flourished, our future would be bright. But gradually, I noticed that he became more and more indifferent toward our home. When he came home, he would lazily slump on the sofa, glued to his phone, ignoring all my efforts. The meals I lovingly prepared were met with a half-hearted response. What I found even harder to bear was the dramatic decrease in our communication. Those nights when we could talk for hours were now replaced by suffocating silence. I tried to express my feelings, hoping to open a dialogue, but all I received were impatient replies, or a simple, "I'm tired, don't bother me." His indifference made me feel as though I was isolated in a frozen wasteland, lonely and helpless. At the same time, the financial pressures of our household began to show. To pay off the mortgage, our lives became more and more strained. Yet Jack seemed completely unaware of the gravity of the situation. He continued to go out with his friends, drinking and partying, completely disregarding our financial troubles. I began to feel anxious and full of dread about the future, but he acted as though nothing was wrong, continuing with his carefree lifestyle. One day, by chance, I saw Jack's credit card statement. The expenses on it shocked me. He had racked up quite a debt, spending it all on nights out with friends and buying luxury items. When I confronted him, he was completely unconcerned, brushing it off as no big deal, and telling me not to overreact. In that moment, I was utterly disappointed in him. I couldn't understand how the man I once dreamed of a future with could become this person. Faced with all of this, I felt like I was on the verge of breaking down. I tried to save our marriage by confiding in both of our parents, hoping they could talk some sense into Jack. But nothing changed. He became even colder toward me. I began to suffer from insomnia, spending my days crying, and my work performance plummeted. The optimistic, cheerful person I once was had vanished, replaced by someone who had lost faith in life. Now, I wake up each day in pain, unsure how to face this out-of-control marriage. I've considered leaving, but I can't let go of the emotions and effort I've invested. I think about holding on, but there's no sign of hope. It feels as though I've fallen into a dark, bottomless pit, unable to find an exit, forced to endure all the pain and helplessness of this life on my own.